I have my work cut out for me. Hi, Vicky Kelty here, and I started off with a little idiom, and you'll soon find out why. But today, my focus is in telling you about taking breaks by using complex topics in order to keep your motivation really high with your language learning. So, for my French study stats for September, I had 2 hours and 52 minutes logged in my little toggle timer. And for my leisure time, I had a number of little things that I did, like using French with my husband. I watched a movie in French over a couple of days, and it was in French with Spanish subtitles. It was a crime drama. Super sad. I cried a lot during it. And the other thing that I've been watching, is there's a new episode of a crime series called Candice Renoir that I really like. And I just started watching that. I'm about a third of the way through the episode. Hopefully, I'll finish it this weekend. But back to these idioms, right? I have my work cut out for me. Yeah. I I really did when I started studying the idioms this month. And the reason that I decided to focus some of my study practice on idioms is because I just got so bored with learning the basics and having to repeat the same thing over and over and over and over. And I was like, can't I just learn something else? I want to learn something else. If I don't learn something else, I'm just going to stop learning. And so I opted for idioms. And I think they're really fun. They're so worky. How they have one meaning, but the actual literal meaning is usually something really hilarious. That's what I wanted. I just wanted some fun mixed in. And that's what I got. It worked really well. I found a site that it was a small list of them. It was like 7. So I wrote them down. It had practice sentences, so that really helped me get the context better of how to use them. And it did have the meaning and the literal translation. So, yeah, I was super pleased with what I found. And then to put it into action, I did my own writing where I used them in connection to my life. So, I definitely recommend that way of learning and using idioms, especially if you just need a break from something repetitive that you're learning. And maybe idioms is a complex kind of thing for you to learn. Maybe it's not. Maybe there's something else that's going to be complex for you. For me, the idioms was really something that pushed me to try something new. And I loved the experience. Something else that came up that was really dragging my motivation down was I was just feeling like I wasn't progressing. I've been studying the same tenses over and over and over and over. The present simple, the past that I know one form of the past in French and not a lot more. So, I was just like, I want to learn some more complex grammar forms. How long before I'm allowed to learn more complex grammar forms? Well, then I remembered that I'm the one who gets to control what I learn. So I can learn it right now. But I understand the logic of master this before you move on to the next one. I completely get it. And I work with students to help them master specific grammar forms and help them to learn the new ones and use them as well. So, yeah, it's totally logical. And also, there's nothing wrong with taking a look at something a little more complex and testing it out, learning a little about it. And so that's what I decided to do. I said, I'm done waiting. I'm going to learn this other French past form and I'm going to see what the big mystery is about. What's the big deal? And so I found some information for it that basically compared the uses of the two past forms that I was learning, and it went really well. I stopped after about the third reason that you would use one form over the other. And I had done practice sentences using the information that they gave me using their practice sentences on this website. And yeah, after the third explanation, I said, okay, my brain's starting to get a little tired. This is complex and I'm done. I have learned a little bit. I'm so happy to have experienced it, got to actually use it. So I felt that I had achieved what I wanted and I went and I feel like it motivated me more to go back and work on my basic structures because I'm like, okay, with my basic stuff, I'm going to be even more ready when I get to this level of learning these more complex past tenses. But now I know that I don't have to wait. I can do both of them. I can do just a little bit here and there of learning some of it, not overwhelming myself, but I don't have to restrict myself to only being allowed to work on one form until it's perfect. Ugh, I'm just, yeah. I'm completely against perfection. It has no place in my learning. Because if I did go based on perfection, I would never end up using any of the things that I'm learning. So I have to keep that flexibility alive and give myself these little opportunities like I did with the past. So think about, is there something more complex with grammar that you could take a look at that might help you to go back renewed, refreshed, recharged, and ready to spend time with the basic grammar thanks to having learned something complex because that's what worked for me. So give it a try if you are feeling like you're just not progressing how you want to. Maybe this is a trick that you can try out for yourself. And then the last thing that I really found useful this month that I hope you can find useful as well is I wanted to I wanted to show to myself, I wanted to prove to myself that I have come a long way. I do know stuff in French. Because with doing some of these complex things, it was like everything's new. I've never seen it before. What do I even know in French? And so that's why in this last part, I said, okay, let's just have a look at something that's simpler and see what I can do with it. So I did a little vocabulary review on clothing. I chose a speaking topic from the voice message speaking practice that was on the topic of hobbies, something that I have information on in French. And I gave both of those activities a try and it was amazing. I felt really confident with them. I felt so good that I was able to understand the vocabulary and I was able to communicate what I wanted regarding my hobbies. And I still had moments of new vocabulary that I learned and moments of I could explain this in a different way for my speaking. So there was still even more that I could learn, but the overall outcome was just that I felt really good about having mastered those things. Like I felt like I had mastered them and that made me feel just bubbly, really happy. And it was a nice little ego boost to do the vocabulary practice and the speaking practice and know that I was capable of doing them. And that's one of the things that I don't um, always mention about the voice message speaking practice is that the questions that I put together for the weekly questions that I send out is a range of levels. I've strategically chosen those questions based on the grammar points that have come up through the years that I've been teaching. So, based on the challenges that students have had, what they found easy, what they found difficult, so that the questions are always helping you to advance, but they aren't always advanced questions. And so, what I mean by that is that the questions that are more basic forms or that you feel might be more basic, that's a nice little review for you. And the other questions that maybe use grammar forms that are a little trickier for some people, that's a nice little opportunity for you to try something more complex and see how it goes. So, I definitely took advantage of the fact that I had those questions available for myself and I put them into practice and had a lot of fun talking about I could talk about my hobbies all day. And so, what I would give to you as the last piece of advice is to mix it up when you're feeling boredom set in. Maybe one of these strategies that I've mentioned today will be the perfect one for you to just get out of that hole of boredom, get unstuck, and keep moving along with your English practice. So, a question I'll leave you with to think about is there something more complex that you can dip your toes in and learn a little bit of? Whether it's idioms, whether it is a different tense, a different past form. Is there something that you want to a basic thing that you want to review to prove that you still got it? Think about those different things and see which one you feel an urge to take a look at and go practice that today. And be sure to let me know what you decide to work on. So that's all from me. If you have anything that you would like to share with me, maybe you'll let me know what you chose to work on. You can email me at hola@vickykelty.com. Until next time, happy learning.